Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are having a great December. I really love this filter. It looks like I'm really in the room. Also, welcome if you are new to my channel. Welcome if you've been rocking with me. And yeah, I'm happy to be back again. I see a lot of people are doing a lot of recaps. So I think this might be a version of it. There's something that I really wanted to speak. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to speak fluently, to say less because I don't want to have to go back and I said again. I don't want to go back and have to edit the video over. And also it helps me with the speech. So to recap, do I want to recap? I'm not sure how I really want to go about it. I didn't really think about it thoroughly. I know there's some stuff that I wanted to speak on that and one thing for sure that I know that I wanted to talk about was a video that I recorded a while back after I graduated. A few of us went, my friends and I went to Tampa, and there was a video that I recorded on the way there. It started raining on the highway. For anyone that's been in the States or even have experience driving knows that sometimes when it rains you cannot always see, like if it rains really hard, you are unable to see what is the traffic that is in front of you. So on our way to Tampa, we had this crazy rain that came out of nowhere, and we couldn't see. I wasn't driving, my friend was driving. He was driving, and we couldn't see what was happening, like what was coming on, but we knew our destination. So something about, like, I don't know, Holy Spirit had me record that that situation, and through it I got my own revelation, right? And so this is what happened. I'm going to try my best to edit. I still have to end up editing. I'm going to try my best to show you guys what I recorded and what it looked like for me and the revelation that I received from that experience. So we were driving, we're unable to see, so the drivers put on their hazard lights so that way you are able to follow the traffic that is ahead of you, and you had to drive really slow. Like you can't drive fast if you're unable to see, the road. So in that, I knew where I was going. At that moment, we didn't know exactly how we were gonna get there. Of course, there's GPS, but we couldn't see the way clearly. And towards the end, it stopped. Like it's like we passed through it, and it was bright. It's like there was barely any rain. Like when after we passed the part where it was raining, and that's where I got my revelation. And I was like, and I thought to myself, okay, because at that time I just graduated and I was unsure which path that I was taking. If I was returning home, I knew that I was returning home, but no, I didn't know I was returning home. If I didn't, I wasn't sure whether I was returning home. I felt that God was leading me to go to Atlanta. I was so sure in certain parts that I know that God got me, but I was unsure as to which way he's gonna lead me to. So that's how I felt that time. And I was like, okay, this is God revealing to me that it's foggy now, but eventually he'll show you the way. Boom. The year came, time came, and I came to St. Martin, and my focus was to I can't find my words, but my focus was to not conduct, but to have the event, Kingdom Sisters event. So that was my main focus when I came to St. Martin. And I didn't job hunt, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come home, and I do have the opportunity to return to the States if I were to decide to do so, and I can also be in St. Martin. So I thought the fogginess was in the States. The fogginess became even more foggier in St. Martin, because I came home in July 4th, July 1st or 4th. And I didn't start job hunting because I had Kingdom Sisters event planning, and that was my main focus, and that was for the ending of July, and the 1st of August we had it planned for. And that's one thing I have to thank God for. He came through in making it happen. And after it all happened, it was like I was at a standstill, and I thought this standstill would have been for a month. This foggy state would have been for a month. It's been 6 months. 6 months. And in this 6 months, I was like, Lord, what's happening? What is going on? And even in that, there were moments that I was discouraged, but what kept me going was the fact that I know what God has set on my heart. I know what he placed for me to do. The wait was worth it. Although I didn't understand the reason why I had to wait, but I do believe that that foggy state that I went through, just as in the car, like in that situation, that foggy state that I was in, it's becoming clearer. I'm about to step into my clear season, if that makes sense. And because of the person that I know that I am, being at a standstill is very, very uncomfortable for me. And in that, sometimes when you're in that state, you focus on what you don't have. I know that there are moments that I did do that. I focused on what I didn't have. I just wallowed in my, oh my gosh, why am I not working? I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to be able to do this, that, and the other. But it also humbled me to just wait on God. There's a scripture, a sermon, I believe. I don't remember who said it, but it's Darius Daniel. He said that sometimes we just ask God to use our life, and we don't always think it through. We don't really understand what it means for God to use our life. When God uses our life, that means he's going to use the struggle, the things that we struggle with. People are going to see it, that it will be evident to others, so that when God uplift you, that people can see that this is what God was able to do through you. So whatever struggle that it may be, you may not understand it. Like, we have to go through it so that we can show the glory of God. And as much it can sound nice, but it's a very uncomfortable feeling. I know for me in this situation, it was uncomfortable waiting, uncomfortable knowing the things that I want to do and I'm unable to do because I have to wait until God let make it go through. And I can't say that in the wait I've been the best, like the happy camper. I wasn't. Listen, the last video I did, I talked about post-graduation depression. I have I haven't been consistent in reading my Bible. One thing I've been consistent in is listening to sermons, because that's something that I really enjoy doing, and it does fill me up. But reading the word on your own is very important, because and God speaks to you, and it's not always through others. But this time I was like, God, I know what you've promised me. I know it's coming to pass, but at this point, I just want to start. And the thing is, like, it's right there. You can see it. You can see it happening, but I don't know if it's because I can see it makes it even more difficult, the wait even more difficult, because I know what God has placed within me. I know what I can do through him, and the possibilities, the doors that he has opened for me. I know it's for me. And it's just that wanting to start, the urgency to just want to begin. But trusting God's process, trusting God's timing, and he has kept me encouraged through it all. There are times that I didn't feel like doing anything, or I just, as I said, I was discouraged, but God would send people my way to to keep me encouraged. My sisters would send me random texts. Brothers, they would send me random texts that would just encourage me in my time, or sermons. Like there are ways that he would speak to me, even in my disobedience. So it also goes to show that our obedience, like our actions, doesn't determine God's love for us. Our actions does not determine God's love for us. Even in in my disobedience, God has he had grace on me, and he continued to keep me encouraged. I let the ball drop when it came to Kingdom Sisters because I wasn't filling up myself. I was unable to pour into my sisters, and I know it, and it was just difficult for me to do because I personally, I don't like to fake something. Like if I don't have it in me, then I cannot do it, and I can't portray something that I am not. And my foggy season meant that I wallowed in my discouragement. I am guilty of doing so. I let the ministry that God had given me, I didn't give it my full attention because everything felt foggy. So I was like, what to do? And knowing me, I know, just focus on what you have. And this is something I've always done. And it's something something I've always practiced from young, because I didn't grow up having the most. I didn't grow up, having the most. So I used to just make do with what I have. And that's a mindset I've always kept growing up. And because again, sometimes you focus on things that you don't have and you make yourself depressed. So there were times that I did focus on the things I didn't have because I want to be able to do and I'm unable to do, and I wasn't making use of what I already have. And that's in regards to Kingdom Sisters specifically. But even in that too, I am grateful for the waiting season, this 6 months period. I got the time to spend time with my loved ones, my friends' babies. I was able to experience these things with them. And if I was working, if I was so super busy, I would not have the time to do so. And probably that was the reason why I had to be on a pause, because once the business began, I might not have that time to be able to spend with my loved ones. So even in, like, there's always a blessing in the things. Like, there's always blessings. So it's our duty, sorry. It's our duty to try our best to focus on the positive. There are times, as I said, it's difficult even for the most positive, motivated person out there, but there's a reason. There's a reason why it is important to do so. So I hope that whoever is watching this video, regardless of what your state is at the moment, regardless of what you may be going through, that you remain encouraged and continue to persist in God, continue to have faith in Him, even when your reality does not look like it. Because there's many times that I've mentioned, one thing I've always, even through it all, I continue to talk to God. And I was like, God, this reality does not look like what you've promised me. Of course, I know whenever he promises me something, I think I'm gonna have it right then and there, or I have to do it right then and then. That's not how God works. He works in His timing. So if you are also in a foggy state, I don't know what your 2021 look like, but have faith that 2022 will be a better year for you. You have to claim it and just trust what God has spoken over your life. Trust what He has promised you. And I'm speaking from experience because I am right now getting out of that season. I know I am. And I look forward to when I can share that part with you and how God has done part of what I know, because our understanding could never comprehend His way of doing things. Throughout this foggy season, I'm going to call it that, so many times I've heard, don't put God in a box. His thoughts is way above our thoughts. And there are times that I'm like, oh my gosh, roll my eyes, because this is something that I know. And I know that it's speaking directly to me, because yeah, it's Kingdom Sisters theme. Don't put God in a box. And sometimes we do that when things get difficult and it's not going our ways. Like, God, what is going on? But as I said, have faith and continue to build your relationship with God. That's the most important thing. At the end of the day, continue to build your relationship with Him because He knows how to speak to you the best. He knows you from in and out. So whatever you may be battling through, just go to Him and speak to Him about it. And one of the things too, this is my little therapy session, okay? One of the things that this foggy season has shown me was things that I did not really like, that I do not like about myself, and things that I still have to work on. So, as we all know, and if you don't know, faith, being a believer, being a follower of Jesus, it is work. It is work, it is work, it is work. I'm being back in the environment that I grew up with and seeing the people that I'm around, my family. And it's like, there are certain things that I like that I want to keep. There are certain things that I see that I don't want to keep. And you have to, sometimes the environment might influence you and you don't even notice what you have, what you took on. So it's like the whole quarantine thing in 2020 when everyone was quarantine. Yes. When we were, that word, we had to deal with certain things that we didn't have to pay mind to because we were so busy, things that we hid, that we buried, came resurfaced because we had nothing to deal with but ourselves. So throughout this 6 months, it was me dealing with myself, me learning about myself, and I'm still learning. And I do want to be a better person. I do want to. It's work, and taking the time to have grace on yourself, have grace that you have the same grace that you have on others. To also have with yourself because you're important, and two, you you cannot pour from an empty cup. So take the time to figure things out on your own, replenish yourself, and then so that you can go out and pour. These past months, I haven't been able to pour the way I'm used to. I got comfortable. I I got comfortable. I got uncomfortable. I saw some things and I was like, bleh. But I thank God for the people in my life that really like that I can be really raw with. And I'm grateful for God gifting us the Holy Spirit and God's grace upon my life, So this journey is an ongoing journey. It's worth it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change the love of God. I wouldn't change my experience with God. I wouldn't change the relationship I have with God. I wouldn't change my relationship with God to look like any other person because He knows me. And that's important. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. It wasn't much of a recap. Let's do a quick recap. Because again, there are things that I accomplished that I didn't really take time to like, oh yeah, I did do that. But I won't go in everything, but the highlight of my year is my graduation for sure. Because that's one of the first things. Okay, the beginning of the year, I did a girls trip with my friends from FAMU. So that was cool. That was a great experience. I was able to bond with them, and I was a person that really I was hesitant in letting people in, and I'm grateful for them being persistent in, Christine, Christine, come true, because Christine, me, I love being in my house. I love being in my own space, and I love being around people. It's just been difficult for me to let new people in like that. But I'm grateful that for the people that God placed in my life, the 1.5 year that I spent in Tali, from last 2019 to whenever I went. So that's a highlight of my 2021, our trip. It was fun. It was amazing. The graduation was a great accomplishment, although on the day itself, I didn't really feel too festive because I wanted my loved ones to be there and they were unable to make it. Miscommunication, but I'm grateful that I was able to accomplish it by God's grace and my friends' help, of course. Big up to Jesse, Cup, all my classmates, and Darnisha. And the third thing is, the Kingdom Sisters event. I could not have done it without Kingdom Sisters, period. I've always said that there's no Kingdom Sister without my sisters, and I truly mean it because I cannot carry the load on my own. And the sisters that are in Holland, that's kept the ball rolling, and those that are in St. Martin, and we just started, so we're trying to figure. You're gonna see more stuff in regards to events on St. Martin, and Holland is kind of iffy because of how different the culture is and everything else. But I am grateful for Kingdom Sisters. I am grateful to see the bond that is upcoming from Kingdom Sisters, and the fact that God was able to use me to make that happen. We had a beach day not too long ago, and I was in the water with two sisters, and they had two others walking on the beach together, and I was like, they didn't know each other beforehand, and I'm grateful that now they're talking, they're bonding, and God knows the reason why He created this sisterhood. And as beautiful as Kingdom Sisters is, it's a responsibility that God has given me, that He has gifted me. And I know I am imperfect. I know that I don't ever try to portray any perfection, but I do want Him to continue to guide me in Kingdom Sisters, in this ministry that I know nothing of, so that I remain humble before Him so He could take full control of that. So that was a highlight, Kingdom Sisters, the events, just seeing the bond grow. Lastly, it's just gratefulness towards the people that I have in my life, the people that I knew before and the new ones. I love people. I don't always like to be I don't always like to be in a crowd, but I do love people, and I love the people that God has placed in my life. I love the memories that I've made with my friends and those to come. And I don't know what the future may hold, but I am grateful for my loved ones. I'm grateful for my friends' babies. I have the opportunity to see them grow, and they're growing so fast, and it's definitely a blessing because sometimes we get caught up in life, we get caught up in business and bills and whatnot, and we don't embrace each other, that we don't love on each other. And I know I personally, it's something that I have to make a mindful note of, to show it more, because apparently I don't always, if you know me, you know that you know how I function, and you know that I love, but it's not everyone that can see the way I love, especially if you may be new in my life. So, and I was made known, I was, someone told me that recently, and I was like, oh my God, how you don't know? I've been telling you. But it's not everyone receives it the same way. Everyone has a different love language. And for me to learn how to communicate it and show it, I'm still figuring that part out. But what I want to what I'm trying to talk about, what I'm trying to say is that I'm grateful for the people in my life. Point blank, period. Like, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I have no worries. I have nothing to worry about because God really got me. So I hope you guys have a blessed and a wonderful new year. Be safe out there. This will be my last my last video for the new year. I will see you guys next year, God's willing. And I do look forward to the new things that I have in store for you guys. Bear with me, and I'm gonna try my best to remain consistent. I've been consistent in the videos these past few months, so that's another thing, So yeah, life is all about growth. So it's not always comfortable, but it's worth it. And I'm here for it. And I love to see other people grow, and I love to see myself grow. So yeah, I changed to souls growth. Have a blessed and a wonderful day, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. I will see you next year, God's willing. Be safe. Trust God. Love on God. He loves you. And I love you too. Bye.